Consider blind Bartimaeus the beggar. Although blind, he's informed about the folk healer, Jesus. He also is quite shrewd. He's shrewd enough to positively challenge Jesus, even enough to force Jesus to barter healing for him with the realm of God. Bartimaeus annoyingly repeats his request, shouting in public, "Son of David, have mercy on me." What is he doing? And what does biblical mercy mean? Recall the Matthean Jesus and his beatitude, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." In cultural context, the merciful are those Israelites who fulfill their interpersonal obligations. They pay off their personal debts. They give what they owe to their fellow Israelites. And in turn, Jesus says, they shall be given what God owes them. Restoration to their original honor status in Israelite theocracy. So mercy, in the Mediterranean value system of the Bible, describes an Israelite's willingness to pay personal debts and give what is owed. Bartimaeus, the blind beggar, shrewdly demands that Jesus, the shamanic broker, fulfill his interpersonal obligations and give him what he is owed. By repeating the statement, "Son of David, have mercy on me," over and over again, blind Bartimaeus insists that Jesus owes the healing to him. And he's very clever, because by shouting this compliment and demand ever more loudly, Bartimaeus makes sure that the entire crowd is aware of Jesus' debt to him. Everyone is watching. Jesus' reputation as a folk healer sent from God is on the line, as is the honor of the Jesus movement. What will Jesus do? But wait a minute, how can Jesus owe this stranger anything? Cleverly, the beggar compliments the peasant folk healer Jesus as Son of David. In doing this, Bartimaeus publicly identifies Jesus as Messiah, which is how the author we call Mark interprets Son of David. Does Jesus of Nazareth agree with that messianic assessment? Does the crowd? Whatever the case, it is an awesome honor to be associated with the house of David. The title Son of David situates this Galilean peasant Jesus in the lineage including Solomon, reverenced in Jesus' day as a near omniscient and omnicompetent ruler, the master healer and exorcist.
Now, I want to play a little game here with somebody in the front row just for a second. You and I are you an American? Your first name? Vern, if I said, "Vern, that's a really nice-looking jacket," as an American, your response? Thank you. In a Middle Eastern village, you just blew it big time. You do not say thank you. Thank you is the way you end an interaction. It means, basically, we're done. But look what I just did. I just offered you a compliment. A compliment is a positive honor challenge. Now, you have to know that you've been challenged, and you have to know by how much. And you now have a couple of options. If you don't respond, we know you're a coward. And if the public is watching, you just lost face. You could decide, I've been challenged by that much, and you could respond in equal measure. Now the playing field is level again. We can go on with our conversation. Or you might decide to one-up me. Now I got to know that I've been challenged. So positive challenges come in the form of gifts and compliments.
How could Jesus accept either honorific accolade without rewarding clever Bartimaeus? So, Jesus the broker arranges healing from the patron god of Israel for this beggar. And Bartimaeus regains his sight and immediately follows Jesus. Such a response is not unusual, but rather quite in line with the Mediterranean institution of patron-client relations. Jesus, of course, is the broker and not the patron. To use an analogy from the Godfather movies, Jesus is not like Don Corleone, but rather he's like Tom Hagen. Jesus is the one who has ready access to God, the patron, and who can connect clients or broker for them with God, the patron. Bartimaeus is the client. Healed, he joins Jesus' entourage because he is indebted to Jesus, the shamanic broker, and will sing his and the patron's praises far and wide. In the Mediterranean world of the Bible, a favor received is a favor owed, even if the return favor is not expected. Do you notice where the anonymous author we call Mark situates this healing story in his gospel narrative? It is right after Jesus contrasted the behavior of non-Judean rulers with those who hold authority in the Jesus movement. Mark invites the reader further to reflect on the difference. Jesus the folk healer is located by his would-be client, Bartimaeus, in the royal lineage of David. That would make Jesus Israelite royalty. But instead of lording it over his beneficiary like a tyrant, Jesus instead adopts the role of servant, accedes to the blind man's request, intercedes like a servant with the God of Israel, and obtains restoration of the man's sight. The beggar, in turn, feels bound to point to Jesus as his successful broker with the patron God of Israel, who does not turn a deaf ear to the requests of a humble subject. My friends, how does any of this apply to 21st century Western people like Americans? Our world runs on money, not honor. We go by our own steam and personal achievements, not depending on Mediterranean patron-broker-client relations. With this gospel story, American Christians have a golden opportunity to compare the effectiveness of the ancient healing system of Jesus with the workings of our own contemporary healthcare system.